Hello, limited viewership. Though I prefer to think of you as exclusive. But, anyways, still sick. Still not COVID 19. I got a thermometer, my temperatures. I'm not running a fever. I just don't feel good. Unfortunately for me, I was up like till 5:30 in the morning yesterday. I had to wake up and pick up the Meals on Wheels thing, and I wore gloves. I got like the last box of latex gloves in the state. Not really, but you know, give me a little room for exaggeration. But it was the last one in the area, and I wore them. But the guy's like, I'll sign the thing myself because I didn't want to handle the pad, the little electronic pad where you sign with your finger or you sign with a pen. That I don't know who else was handling, but the guy that delivers the meals is this nice guy named Robert. He's older than I am, so he's actually in a high risk category. You don't want to be old and catch that stuff. But when I sent my aid worker out, I called the agency and I insisted she wear a mask and gloves. And she come walk in here with no gloves. And then she put the gloves in after she got in the house. And I'm like, whatever. Because that's the thing is, people like the guy uh, in the health aid profession. You know, these are people that come in contact with a lot of people. And I come in contact with just about nobody. So, I'm safe. They're not, as far as being a courier. But it was kind of funny. I insisted she wear a mask, and they were like, okay. Then they called me like 2 days later, and they got a protocol now where all aid workers have to wear a mask. You can only send them, you can't have them do any housework. And I told her I don't want her doing my dishes. So they pretty much followed my guidelines. They're like, I don't want her doing my dishes or anything like that. I'll see if I can find something for her to do. And I sent her shopping. And there's just a run on everything. Around here, it's like the shelves are like bare. It's like people are acting like nuclear war has hit. The Walking Dead or Among Us. Um, you know, the rats are here, the werewolves are coming type apocalypse. People get like this. The funny thing to me is like toilet paper is always the first thing to go. So she had to go like 3 stores just to get me toilet paper. And I'm like, of all the damn things for people to fix on, and then I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, well, they're worried about like the breakdown of civilization and whatnot, and they're thinking in apocalyptic terms. And what symbolizes civilization more than toilet paper? Because I lived in as an outdoorsman. I can't tell you how many times I've dropped the deuce outside. Um, it's very survivable. There are alternatives to toilet paper as far as keeping yourself clean. But what it is toilet paper represents outdoor plumbing. Outdoor plumbing represents civilization. So everybody grabs up the toilet paper. So there was a minor disagreement between two of my relations over toilet paper because he just wanted one roll of toilet paper off off my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law was like reluctant to give him one roll of toilet paper, and he had a 12 pack. And that expression like where civilization is 3 meals away from crumbling. Yeah, people are getting kind of goofy about this. This stuff. You're just gonna get sick unless you got a pre-existing condition that leaves you vulnerable, like me, or like my nephew's got asthma, because it's you get a fever, you get a cough, and you get a chest cold. Um, if you're healthy, if I was healthy, I would not be worried about it at all. I wouldn't be like, Ohio's under complete lockdown. They've shut down everything. They shut down the gyms. They shut down the restaurants. They shut down the bars. They shut down the fitness centers. They shut down the schools. Everything is under lockdown here. The last I checked, which was a couple of days ago, we had 50 odd cases in the state. There's still only 3 in Stark County as of 2 days ago, but I haven't checked for a couple of days. So there's only 3. Stark County is a big county. It encompasses like 3, 4, 5 cities of decent size, and there's only 3 cases. But our governor is very big on we're not letting this spread any further type thing. So actually, Ohio was like, we were like the most prepared state. It's like I said, our governor was prepared for this shit like way back in early February. As soon as it broke out in China, pretty much. I think it broke out in China, escaped from China in like January 21st. I read January 21st somewhere, but anyways, that's just a date I got stuck in my head. Quickly, sorry about the anniversary video coming out so poorly, but I am sick. I do not feel well. Achy, fatigue, don't want to do anything, and stomach's not agreeable. So this won't be a very long video, though I do have one other thing to report, which is I did talk to the guy that's supposed to help me move on the phone, and I could actually do it sight unseen, but I made it very clear to him. I think I'm going to have to stay on him, but the problem is I'm not really in an assertive mood, and I wrote him yesterday because our appointment, today's Thursday, our appointment was for Tuesday. Tuesday, I was too sick. I was very sick Tuesday. So I just canceled our appointment. I didn't know, he didn't have anything set up, I don't think, anyway. I don't think he had anything set up for us to go anywhere anyway. I'm not sure, but I made it very clear to him that I want to take the first place. I said, you already know what I want. He's describing this place to me that we already got scoped out. And I'll shoot him a text today. And the thing of it is like I got to be the squeaky wheel. I've never been. I'm the hub. I'm the empty part at the center of the hub that the Buddhists talk about. Without that empty spot, the wheel doesn't work. But I have to be squeaky. I'm not good at being squeaky. Never been good at asking for help or making an impression, as I have covered, if you know me. Oh, I got like pains in my legs. You'll be fine. No, you'll have a tumor and have 3 major back surgeries. You know what I'm talking about. But anyways, this bird needs to shut up outside this window. That's the kind of mood I'm in, because I didn't get no sleep. So I told him like, look, he understands that I'm high risk for the COVID thing killing me, because your heart and your lungs work in concert. That's why when you smoke, you get a heart thing from it. So if I got a bad heart, I don't want to have bad lungs on top of it. I don't want to have any kind of lung infection. I've had pneumonia before. I bet you pneumonia is worse than COVID-19, but I've had pneumonia before and lived, but I was young. And I've had at least 3 cases of bronchitis. I don't know what this COVID thing is like. I'm sure it's different for everybody, and like some people it hardly affects at all. Some people, if you've got compromised health, we know what happens to them. So anyways, the point that I'm trying to make, or I'm laboring to make, is I was like, look, sight unseen. I was like, I had a phone conversation with him. I was like, the conditions that I live in. I said, any place besides here is going to seem like paradise. He's like, oh, it's a pretty nice place. It's got a ramp, for the scooter. Going outside, I remember him saying that. He said they're pretty spacious apartments and all this. And I'm like, I wanted to make sure he got it. And I'm like, I want the first thing I can get. So I told him I'd take it sight unseen. I'm like I give you, I got numbers I can give the guy for references to two landlords, one of which I rented off of for 15 years. The guy here, unless he wants to lie on me, I haven't missed the rent here in 10 years. And as far as I know, I've had no complaints against me in 10 years. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, the landlord told me, no one's ever complained against you. So that might have changed. I don't know. But unless he wants to be a lying sack of shit, that's a possibility because he is a lying sack of shit. So I can just give him the other guys. I got references, no criminal history. My credit has one bad mark on it, which is because I got overcharged by AT&T and refused to pay a bill that I don't owe, and just being stubborn about it and waiting them out until the 7 years go by to where it disappears off my credit. But shouldn't make a difference. But the point is, I don't have to leave the house even, because there's an excuse for me not to leave the house. So I don't have to get in the car with this guy who's a potential typhoid Mary because, his job involves human interaction. So I don't have to get in his car. I can just I said, man, I said, it sounds good to me. You can even just bring me the paperwork and I can sign the paperwork and give you the money. And you can pay the dude. I just want the keys. That's all I want is the keys in my hand. I want to know I got some other place to go. And then I can start making plans about getting out of here. But I need them keys in my hand. So I'm going to have to keep on this dude. Because as you can imagine, if the common average person, if there's runs on stores like it's the apocalypse and the Walking Dead are among us, if there is that kind of reaction from the non-psychiatric patient community, you can only imagine what it's like to work in the psychiatric industry at this point. All the hysterical people. I asked him about it, but he didn't answer me back right away. And by the time he got his text, I got his text, time had went by. I said, how did yesterday go? Which I meant, as pertains to me. But he was just wrote like it was madness, laugh out loud. Because you can only imagine the anxiety that this is creating against the so-called normal people. You can imagine what it's doing to psychiatric patients and people that think that they need to call the FBI because somebody's stealing their mail. And, the paranoids. So, very bad timing for me. But I'll call him today and try to write him a concise, leave him a message or write him a concise thing. But I'll have to bug him every day. Excuse me. I don't have much else to say. Not much else happened. Like I said, the state is locked down as far as any place where there's a public gathering of any kind. Bars, restaurants, gyms, schools, fitness centers, you name it. Oh, movie theaters too. No movies for nobody. You have to stay home and watch them on your computer like I do. I never liked the movie theater experience much. Anyway, because you always end up with rude people. Like I went to see The Relic, and this girl was determined to get me in a fight with her boyfriend because maybe that got her off or whatever, but she kept kicking the back of my chair. I was high as shit on marijuana, so I had limited control, of the situation. So I just put up with it. I was like, I looked back there and I seen that her dude was there. And I'm like, well, if I say something to this girl, like quit kicking the fucking back of my chair, I'm going to have to fight this dude or be in some kind of conflict with this dude. It's going to create a conflict, and she's just being a C word. I don't like that word, you know, it's very offensive to the ladies. But she was being a cunt, and, you know, been through that scenario, not inexperienced, know the deal. Some people like to spice up their relationship by getting their man to show how much they love them, by causing trouble for other males, whether they're alpha males or not. So, you know, never cared for the movie going experience. I remember smuggling in alcohol to the Lord of the Rings movie, one of the last movies I went to, because I was like, this movie's 3.5 hours long. It's like, I got chronic pain. I'm going to be drunk watching this thing. So, that was quite a few years ago. But no, don't care about the movie theaters being closed. So everything's shut down. There's a run on stores. The aid workers have new rules now where they won't do shit. They won't even go into a drugstore for you. They're willing to go through the drive-through. They won't clean your house. They wear a mask and gloves, and they only go to one store for you. So, you know, the um, woman that uh, works for me pretty much exclusively, she's going to be kind of screwed because it's going to affect their work. I'm surprised they're not shut down completely. You know, they don't want the typhoid Mary situation developing where some aid worker catches it and then passes it on to a bunch of elderly and disabled people and kills them. So, and the other news would be, um, yeah, I do have a place scoped out in North Canton. I just have to work something out with the Brent guy. I don't need to see it. I know that's probably a weird concept to the dude. I don't care about the neighborhood. I don't think he understands the situation here. But, you know, I can say it over and over again, but you can say something over and over again and not have people hear it. It's like, any place is better than here. I just want out of here. Okay? I want away from here. So he's like, people are like, it's a nice apartment. I was like, I don't give a fuck if it's a nice apartment, man. You don't understand. As long as I got quiet, it's gonna be fucking paradise. All I want is quiet. And, you know, I asked him about it, and he said, "Oh, it's a regular apartment building setup." You know, because I asked him about. I said, "You know what I need? I only need two things. I need quiet. I need my own entrance and exit, so I don't have to interact with people. I don't want to interact with." So that's all I want. So I'll just reiterate that on a text, and I'll maybe leave him a message a little later in the day, and see if I can get that rolling. But that's gonna make me feel real good to hold them keys in my hand. And I got about $2,000 cash here in the house. I'm probably gonna have to pay the rent for April to live here, and it is what it is. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Hopefully, I start feeling better. I haven't walked for like 3 days, which I was gonna walk last night, and then I got up and I'm like, let's set the bar a little lower and just do a little cooking. You know, I'll cook it. I almost burn a pan because I set the pan on the stove and I turned the stove on, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm dizzy. I'll just grab something out of the refrigerator and eat it. And I forgot to turn the stove off, so I left the pan on the stove. And I come out and I was like, what's that smell? You know, but it was on low heat. So yeah, that's about where I'm at right now, as far as how I feel. Um, so all right, you're updated on my silly ass life, and hope things are going well for you. And yeah, I hope you have peace of mind, and just remember about this COVID-19 thing is like, if you're healthy, just be sensible. You're gonna get sick, and then you're gonna get better. You know, I mean, my brother got better off of a case of exotic pneumonia. My older brother, which they didn't even know what kind of pneumonia it was. I mean, it was a weird kind of pneumonia, and he totally neglected to go to the doctor for like ever and just suffered with it, and he lived. My younger brother had West Nile virus. He lived. I had pneumonia, and while I had CRPS, to where it took me 10 minutes to climb steps. I mean, I was literally like, couldn't breathe, pain from the pneumonia and stuff. I survived. So, you know, people are losing their sense of perspective of this because everything's shut down. But even if you do get it, you're just going to get sick if you're healthy. I mean, I am not a doctor, obviously, but if you look at the statistics and you study the statistics, it's just the communicability factor is freaking everybody out because it spreads quick. But yeah, and because of the catastrophes in Italy and Greece where they didn't handle it well, so now their healthcare system's overloaded, and but we're pretty much in that situation just as a preventative. I mean, we're already locked down, as I've already expressed. But video long enough. Sorry about the quality of the 2-year anniversary video. It wasn't good at all. And I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.